7 on the dot. Perfect attendance. Opening roll call, please.
Mrs. Cochran?
Here.
Mrs. Coons?
Here.
Ms. Snyder?
Here.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Here.
Ms. Anderson?
Here.
Mr. Ray?
Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Thank you. We're looking first for a motion to accept the minutes from June 20th, 2023 council meeting and June 27th, 2023 special council meeting. As presented and not read, please.
I'll make the motion to accept minutes from June 20th, 2023 council meeting and June 27th, 2023 special council meeting as presented and not read.
I'll second.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks, Laura. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Okay, we're looking next for a motion to accept purchase orders from June 17th, 2023 to June 30th, 2023 totaling $1,201,898.74 as presented and not read, please.
I'll make a motion to accept purchase orders from June 17th, 2023 to June 30th, 2023 totaling $1,201,898.74 as presented and not read.
I'll second.
Thanks, Laura. Thanks, John. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Okay, we're looking next for a motion to accept bills from June 17th, 2023 to June 30th, 2023 totaling $797,934.35 as presented and not read, please.
I'll make a motion to accept bills from June 17th, 2023 to June 30th, 2023 totaling $797,934.35 as presented and not read.
I'll second.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Heather. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Okay, and lastly, we're looking for a motion to accept June 2023 DOPS delinquency report as presented and not read, please.
I'll make a motion to accept June 2023 DOPS delinquency report as presented and not read.
I'll second.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Heather. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Okay, we're moving next into the reading of ordinances and resolutions, please.
Resolution number 7267-2023, a resolution authorizing the Village of Lakemore to enter into a stormwater maintenance agreement with Breaking Barriers Hope is Alive. Whereas the owner currently owns certain real estate currently known as Summit County Parcel Number 5402944, or the property, and plans to develop a portion of the property as commercial property. Whereas the owner will construct a stormwater management system consisting of the following facilities and consistent with stormwater best managed practices, or BMPs: cast iron stormwater grates and frames, catch basins, storm sewers, 100-year paths, flow paths, infiltration basin, and features as set forth in the approved plans, or the plans, and as shown and described on Exhibit A attached Tier 2, each a stormwater maintenance facility and collectively the stormwater management facilities. Whereas the owner shall own and be responsible for maintaining the stormwater management facilities. Whereas the village requires that the stormwater management facilities be constructed by the owner and adequately maintained by the owner. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, Ohio, Section 1, that the Village of Lakemore is to enter into a stormwater maintenance agreement with Breaking Barriers Hope is Alive. Section 2, a copy of the agreement is attached here 2 and incorporated herein as if fully written. Section 3, that is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the passage of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in such formal actions were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121 1989.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 4, this resolution shall take full force and effect on and after the earliest period allowed by law. Resolution number 7271-2023. A resolution accepting the 2024 alternative tax budget for the Village of Lakemore. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, council hereby accepts the 2024 alternative tax budget for the Village of Lakemore. Council further directs the fiscal officer to file on behalf of the Village of Lakemore the 2024 alternative tax budget with the County of Summit. Section 2, a copy of the 2024 alternative tax budget is attached here to and made part hereof as if fully written herein. Section 3, this resolution shall take effect on the earliest period allowed by law. Resolution number 7280-2023, a resolution accepting the resignation of Ross Harmon, part-time firefighter medic with the Lakemore Fire Department. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, and State of Ohio. Section 1, council regretfully accepts the resignation of Ross Harmon as a part-time firefighter medic with the Lakemore Fire Department and thanks him for his service. Section 2, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption of this ordinance were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all such deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 3, this resolution is declared to be an emergency measure in the interest of the health, peace, and safety of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore. Therefore, this resolution should take effect immediately. Resolution number 7281-2023, a resolution accepting the separation agreement and release with Dylan Soyson. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, Village of Lakemore Council agrees with the separation agreement and release, or agreement, made and entered into by and among the Village of Lakemore and Dylan Soyson. Section 2, the agreement attached hereto and made part hereof as if fully were written herein will be signed by the mayor. Section 3, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption of this ordinance were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 4, this resolution is declared to be an emergency measure necessary for the peace, health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore. Therefore, this resolution should take effect immediately. Ordinance number 1819-2023, an ordinance to amend Ordinance 1795-2022, make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Lakemore, State of Ohio, during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2023. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, council approves to increase appropriations in General Fund $40,000 to transfer to the Fire EMS Operating Fund 2904. Section 2, council approves to transfer from General Fund $40,000 to Fire EMS Operating Fund 2904 for salaries. Section 3, council approves to increase revenue in Fire EMS Operating Fund 2904, $40,000 for salaries. Section 4, Treasury for payments from any of the foregoing appropriations upon receiving proper certificates and vouchers therefore approved by the board or officers authorized by law to approve the same, or an ordinance or resolution of council to make the expenditures, provided that no warrant shall be drawn or paid for salaries or wages except to persons employed by authority of and in accordance with law or ordinance. It shall be provided further that the appropriations for contingencies can only be expended upon appeal of 2/3 vote of council for items of expense constituting a legal obligation against the village for purposes other than those covered by other specific appropriations herein made. Section 5, this ordinance is hereby declared to be an emergency measure necessary for the immediate preservation of the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore, Ohio. Therefore, this ordinance shall go into effect immediately. Ordinance number 1820-2023, an ordinance to amend Ordinance 1101-1989 zoning code to to amend variances and conditional uses in sections 501 and 802 of the Village of Lakemore zoning code. Whereas Village of Lakemore Council agrees the current zoning regulations pertaining to conditional uses and variances require further restrictions and requirements to protect the rights of owners and community. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, Village of Lakemore Council amends Ordinance 1101-1909 under Section 501, adding subsection 501.5 expiration, and under Section 802.2, adding subsection 802.2E expiration, that will read, Number 1, construction shall begin within 12 months of approval of a variance or conditional use, whichever applies to 501 or 802. Construction shall be considered begun if the footers of the structure have been installed. Number 2, failure to begin construction within 12 months shall result in the expiration of the variance or conditional use approval unless the applicant requests and receives a one-time extension from the zoning administrator for good cause. Number 3, where conditional use approval is for a use of land or a structure, such use shall be open or fully functioning within 12 months of approval of the conditional use, or the conditional use approval shall expire. Number 4, upon expiration of a variance or conditional use approval, a new application for a variance or conditional use, including all applicable fees, shall be required before approval. Number 5, conditional uses and variances do not run with the land unless expressly stated in the motion approving the conditional use or the variance. Number 6, conditional uses or variances are non-transferable, and a new owner seeking to continue to engage in a previously authorized conditional use or variance must obtain approval from the Planning Commission. Section 2, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption of this ordinance were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 3, this ordinance is hereby declared to be an emergency measure necessary for the immediate preservation of the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore, Ohio. Therefore, this ordinance shall go into effect immediately. Ordinance number 1821-2023, an ordinance to amend Ordinance 1101-1989 zoning code to amend fences in Section 603 of the Village of Lakemore zoning code. Whereas Village of Lakemore Council agrees the current zoning regulations must consider drainage, riparian areas, and utility easements when defining the placement of fences. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, Village of Lakemore Council amends Ordinance 1101-1989 under Section 603 to add A. Village of Lakemore zoning code allows for a deviation from the requirement that all fences must be on a property line. This deviation would pertain to properties where there is a recorded drainage, riparian, or utility easement along the property lines, side or rear. Zoning applications may still be forwarded to Summit Soil and Water Conservation District for review and approval for any fences proposed in drainage or riparian areas. B. Village of Lakemore zoning code will require that if a property owner wishes to place a fence in the riparian area, the owner must apply for a variance, as there could be issues with fencing in a riparian. If the fenced area encompasses the riparian area, the likelihood of the vegetation being disturbed or removed is greater than if the area is outside of the fenced area. Also, being fenced, inspection and enforcement may be difficult, and a fence could spread from neighbor to neighbor. Section 2, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption of this ordinance were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 3, this ordinance is hereby declared to be an emergency measure necessary for the immediate preservation of the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore, Ohio. Therefore, this ordinance should go into effect immediately.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move next into the mayor's report. I have 4 things I'd like to address this evening. The first is I would like to cordially invite everyone to a free ice cream social happening July 8th from 12 to 2 p.m. at Lakemore United Methodist Church. There's no charge, just show up and have some ice cream and enjoy.
What time?
12 noon to 2 p.m. Okay?
That's special.
And that's this weekend coming up. Number two, I would like to remind everyone that there is a Lions Club fundraiser Monday, July 10th from 5 to close at Uncle Tito's, and a portion of all sales will be donated to the Lakemore Lions Club. Third, I would like to remind everyone that the Lakemore Food Pantry will be operating Wednesday, July 26th from 5 to 6 p.m. at Lakemore United Methodist Church. And the fourth item on my mayor's report is I would like to wish our council president a very happy birthday, Eve. Your birthday's tomorrow, so happy birthday from the mayor and all of us. And that's all I got.
She was like, really, in return?
She was.
Really?
Happy birthday.
She was.
Thank you.
Laura, you're up. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Our next council meeting will be July 17th and August 7th, and those will be at 7 p.m. And I know that as we go around, some of us will want to talk about the Rock the Docks, because we have not had a meeting since then. But there is one thing that I would like to mention about Rock the Docks myself, and I want to give, I'll just give a shout out to our police department. We had two officers, well, we had one auxiliary officer, Ron Greenleaf, who, you know, he doesn't get paid for that. He's a volunteer, and he volunteers a lot for us when we need him. And he was there for quite a while, and so I want to thank Ron Greenleaf for volunteering. And the other person that I wanted to thank, which I thought was really unique, we have a new sergeant, well, we have a couple of them. They were sworn in our last meeting, but Sergeant Pat Hunt, he donated his time, and that was his first time ever working for the village of Lakemore. That was like his first 5 minutes on, well, he wasn't on the clock, but that was his first duty was there. And he told me that because it was for our community that he was volunteering. So both of our police representatives were donating their time, and they were there for the whole day, the whole evening. So thank you very much. We're lucky to have such a good representatives of our police department to do that. And that's all I'm going to talk about.
Absolutely. Thanks. Nikki.
Rock the Docks was so much fun. I think I say this every year. It makes my heart so happy to see so many people on the lake and so many kids down at the park.
Yes.
And it just makes me want to do all of those things all the time. I know we can't, but I just wanted to thank all the volunteers that came down, friends and family, pretty much. Anytime we have an event, I call my team of aunts and mother-in-law and say, come help. But it ends up being just like an all-day fun thing, and I just want to thank all of our council people that came all day. And John, the fishing derby was probably the biggest hit. I have never seen so many happy kids running up on that lake
And I'm sure he'll
shore.
talk about that.
I know he will, but
Had like
it was
50
really
kids, right?
awesome.
We had a total of 42 kids.
It was probably one of my favorite parts, is seeing those kids run up, especially the little one with the Barbie fishing pole. They got the biggest one, so,
She was
you know.
killing it.
I know. But yeah, that's all. I love when we get to do things like that together. So that's all I have. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Nikki. And
Okay, I'd like to thank everybody who helped out to put on Rock the Docks as well, on our side of the lake and the other side. And it was a good event all around. And I want also, as always, thanks to Frank, Jim, and Dan for their work on Spectrum Community Channel 1023. And I have an announcement from them. Springfield and Lakemore Community Channel 1023 is proud to serve our community by providing access to our local government meetings as well as programming and information of community events. Tune in to local Spectrum Channel 1023 for a selection of recent programming. To view our current program, tune into the channel or go online to springfieldtownship.us. Also, community members may now access all current and past programming on demand via our new YouTube channel. Find it by searching Springfield Lakemore Community Channel on YouTube. We are currently running special programs of Springfield summer concerts as well as Springfield school promotions and award ceremonies. Even more community information is available from us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and our blog. Please let us know of an event or activity in Lakemore and Springfield that you would like to see on our community channel. Remember, it is your channel, so please let us know how we can best serve you. Contact your local government official who will let us know. And currently on the channel is running the Springfield High School 11th grade award ceremony, the Springfield Preschool Center promotion, summer concert series, Rubber City Rednecks Parts 1 and 2, and the Springfield Township Trustees Special Meeting. And thanks again to Frank, Jim, and Dan for your work. And that's all I have.
Thanks, Nan. John?
Oh, yeah, I'd like to bring up, I had a lot of questions about the special council meeting that was held, and people questioning what we were doing, why do we have a special meeting? I thought we'd just bring it up, let them know that we had an opportunity to get a grant, short notice, and it had to be turned in by Friday. And we are not allowed to apply for anything without basic permission, I guess you could say. I mean, I told Tracy, just fill it out and go for it, but just to clear anybody's mind, we didn't sell the lake, we didn't sell the park, you know.
We would like to.
But we did it so we could put in an application for a grant to do some more road improvement and sewer and water line improvements, and that's what it was for. So anybody that has any questions, there you go. Also, the fishing derby, yes, it was a great success. We had 42 kids that partook. We had fishing poles loaned by the Division of Wildlife for those that didn't have them. Our bait and lunch came from our pit stop. Also, Pure Fishing and Fisherman's Central supplied us with prizes with fishing poles and fishing tackle. The Rotary, Fort Summit Rotary gave us the little trophies, which were awesome. Yes, we had a big winner, which was, I can't even, how do you say her name? Lene B. I didn't,
Yeah,
yeah.
Lanaya.
Yeah, Lanaya.
Lanaya.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
In her age group from 6 to 9, she had like the biggest variety of fish with 3 different types of fish. She also had the biggest fish for her age group and the biggest fish overall with an 18-inch catfish. And the catfish was honestly as big as her fishing pole. She was using one of those little Barbie fishing poles.
Barbie girl in a
But now
Barbie
she's
world.
got 2 new fishing poles for her
She's like, I
prize.
just want my Barbie one back. I don't need these big ones.
And I do have another one I wanted to bring up was, where's he at here? Patrick. He was the winner for the most fish in the age group 6 to 9. And he had the most fish overall.
He was
but
killing it.
He was killing it. The boy had 36 bluegills. He didn't catch anything else but bluegills, but he had 36 bluegills. And some of these, I mean, there was a few of these kids that were lucky if they caught one.
Yeah.
He was bringing them up, where most of the kids were bringing them up on a pole and getting them measured.
Screaming.
This kid was bringing them up by the buckets.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the same one, because you would release.
Yeah, we would release them, so they weren't the same fish every time. But kids had a ball. It was a real pleasure, and I want to thank everybody that took part and all the sponsors. And I can't wait to do it again next year.
Yep.
And just as a reminder, because of the holiday and some conflicting schedules, movie night will be moved to this Saturday, where we'll be watching Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Awesome.
Brendan Fraser. With that, I'm done.
Thanks, John. Heather?
All right. Yeah, I just would like to, again, thank everybody for Rock the Docks. Everybody, volunteers their time. Everybody puts in a lot of effort. A lot of people don't understand what all goes on behind the scenes to be able to pull one of these off. So it's a lot of coordinating and a lot of communication and things like that. And I'm very grateful to our board and for everybody that participates in the Rock the Docks and or our council and everybody that participates in the Rock the Docks and things like that, because I mean it's not an easy task. So when you're dealing with something this big, so getting all the sponsors,
coordinating them, getting the items they're donating, and T-shirts and all that stuff. It's quite a bit. So for everybody that put in their time and effort and volunteered, I'm gonna give a shout out to all of them. And also, I would like to remind everyone that the next council workshop will be held July 12th and July 25th, each at 6 p.m. And the workshops are held in the little chapel at the Lakemore United Methodist Church. And also, for anybody that is unaware, since they're doing construction in the old admin building, that the high school community room here is where we are holding our council meetings. So with that, I am done.
Cool. Just got a couple quick ones. I did want to leave out Chief Smith, who we didn't mention his birthday last council meeting. I know that you
Right.
mentioned in the text. So his birthday was 25th. He had a big 7-0. So
Yeah.
happy birthday to him. I want to thank all of the techs and electrical engineers that worked the other day.
For sure.
I know that like our half the grid, Tracy was like out on sanitarium, and it was a rough transformer blow.
It
Like,
was.
they
It was
were out
rough
for
and trying
quite
to
a
get it
bit.
back.
So, but I appreciate the due diligence and the quickness that they
Yeah.
got it back on. So it was definitely like flickering for a few hours. So, and I don't. We already touched on council meetings, right? All right. So other than that, I guess I'll read it from this paper that just as we're going through summer, we're still picking up your yards. Just don't rake or blow leaves or grass debris into the roadways or waterways. That way, there's no clogs for any of the drainage systems that we have in, and that we can keep all of Springfield Lake as clean as possible.
Awesome.
Can I say thank you to so Saturday when the power was out, it just knocked out the power for the water system, the sewer system, and the fire station, police station. So my guys, including Gene Taylor, who was on vacation starting Saturday, worked making sure that all the generators were going. They had to hard start a couple of them, but they made sure nothing happened with the water or
It was
sewer.
his first day of vacation.
Yeah.
Naturally.
It like seems like it would just be
It always
perfect
happens
to.
like
Would it be
that.
any other way?
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
like the water, you know.
That's.
Didn't we just talk about how most of our workers don't get to take the time
Yeah.
that they accrue?
Yeah.
It's cool, yeah.
There you have it.
Yeah.
So thank you
Thanks,
to them.
absolutely, thank you to them for sure,
Thanks, guys.
for sure. Okay, next, appearing before council, Douglas Fischel. I think the speaker's right there, if you would just, yeah. That's the podium, it's the podium, yep.
I had talked to you, Mr. Mayor, about the fact of wild animals, stray cats, getting in people's trash cans and dumpsters. And where I live, the landlord says he's caught in the middle of it, there's nothing he can do. Okay, got 2 tenants there, they want to throw the lids open, and then one guy goes out there as they're coming in to empty the dumpster, okay, push it back as far as it can so they can't get the lids closed. I think you might know this person. We've had a few problems with them.
Okay.
All right, and there's another woman there, she's the same way, but she says, well, I got a bad back and bad shoulders. Well, the next day, she's out there with a saw, sawing with a handsaw, then a hacksaw, then beating like this one. Yeah, right, okay? Just because of the fact that we've had such a mild winter, and there's been a lot of raccoons become rabid.
Right.
And it's causing the other animals to have it too, because they get into a fight or something. And I thought maybe council could kind of help out, okay? Like say, get with my landlord, since he says I'm just caught in the middle of this. Because I go around and I see all these other people have dumpsters, the lids are closed. So I thought, well, it would solve a problem in Lakemore, especially with these people who like to drop off cats. And I got one neighbor, he likes to put out cat food, same person. And you got raccoons down there fighting over it, possums, you know, even groundhogs. And I went, wait, with groundhogs, I thought we were vegetarian, okay? And with stray cats. And
Yeah.
it's like it's drawing it into an area,
Sure.
and we don't need the problem, especially when people are trying to come home and go up the second floor steps and there's a raccoon eating on a piece of some kind of meat, and I heard her scream, And I went, what the heck? And I went out, this raccoon's up on both of its legs, and I'm going, no, wait a minute here, you know?
Right.
So, it's just something I thought I would bring up for the safety of the whole village.
Where was this at? I'm sorry.
Address for the
Yeah.
record.
1233 Main Street.
Main Street,
It's
okay.
right
so
there
that
at the
one.
curve
Okay.
of Springfield Lake and Main.
All right.
We could contact the health department and see what they could do as far as the animals. And the trash dumpster, I wonder if our ordinance about trash addresses something like that,
Because truthfully, there's lids on it.
right?
And there's a
Right.
reason why they put them on there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and we'll definitely look at the code because we,
That and also the zoning code requires dumpsters and so there, or enclosures around dumpsters, or might be more than just that.
So we really have to look into what it
Yeah,
Well-
says.
but we've got a couple avenues, we can.
Yeah.
Thank
we
you.
can
I
look
appreciate you
at
coming
that.
to us.
Thank you for coming
Thanks for letting us
Yeah,
know.
thank you for-
Bringing your problems.
Want another one? Speeders coming down Springfield Lake Drive, going to the skating
I
rink.
know.
Oh, yeah, that's bad.
I know y'all put that thing down to tell them how fast they were going. Was it taking pictures by any chance?
No.
Because I think you might have missed them as fast as they were going.
No.
Yeah.
No, we
That
did
street
look
has been a
into
problem.
cameras as well, but there's a lot of legal battle that comes with that.
so we have a planning commission meeting next week. We'll definitely talk about that there. And we'll do.
I'm not trying to hurt the
before.
skating rink, you know, because
No.
they're
No,
business.
no, the
No.
It's just the way
dumpsters.
they
About the
come in,
About the
and
dumpsters and
leave,
stuff,
Then
but
they
yeah.
come back and pick up the kids again, and they leave the same way.
We are looking into Chief Smith and I got prices once before. They're called speed tables, and you can move them. So my guys could take the excavator, move them, and put them in a spot like that.
The police has spikes, right?
But this would definitely slow speeders
Okay.
down, and they could move it so they're not always in the same spot.
Yeah.
So,
I appreciate it.
Thank
you,
you.
sir.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you for your
Appreciate
time.
it. As always, appreciate you. Thank you. We're going to
did you
our,
want to speak?
Is there another?
You came in after we started.
I did. This was my first time coming here. My thing was just about the fence amendment at the end that you talked about.
Oh.
I just want to make sure that that got approved so we can.
Not
actually
yet.
get
Well,
fence.
we haven't voted
Right.
yet.
Okay.
Thank you.
And, yeah, you didn't sign, so you'd have to sign before the meeting started.
Great.
For next
Okay.
time.
Yes,
When
thank
you come next time.
He slid in after we started, so
Yeah.
I
I was
wanted
wrong
to make
place,
sure.
that's why.
That's
Oh,
okay.
well, darn.
We're kind of all over the place right now, 'cause-
okay.
okay.
Well, moving into ordinances and resolutions for a vote. Old business, we have two items. We'll start with Mr. Stripmatter.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 7267-2023, a resolution authorizing the Village of Lakemore to enter into a stormwater maintenance agreement with Breaking Barriers. Hope is alive.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson, you're up next.
All right, I would like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 7271-2023, a resolution accepting the 2024 alternative tax budget for the Village of Lakemore.
I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Nope, okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Okay, we're moving next into new business, and Mrs. Cochran, you have 4 items therein, so just go ahead and segue one into the next, okay?
I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 7280-2023, a resolution accepting the resignation of Ross Harmon, part-time firefighter medic with the Lakemore Fire Department. First, I'd like to make a motion to dispense with the 3 reads.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
I'll second the
I'll
original.
second the original.
Thank you, Dick. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Oh,
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
And let the record note that Mr. Ray said, sorry to see him go. I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah,
Hate
good
to
luck
see
on the
any of
next
it fall
one.
apart, really, it's not.
Thanks. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, next, I would like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 7281-2023, a resolution accepting the separation agreement and release with Dylan Soyson. First, I'd like to make a motion to dispense with the 3 reads.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Miss Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Miss Snyder?
Yes.
I'll second the original.
Thanks, Sam. Any discussion?
I'd just like to say that I'd like to thank Dylan for the hours that he did, over the years, that he did volunteer his time to the village, and that I wish him the best of luck in his new current position, wherever, his new job.
Okay. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Miss Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Miss Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance number 1820-2023. An ordinance to amend ordinance 1101-1989 zoning code to amend variances and conditional uses in sections 501 and 802 of the Village of Lakemore zoning code. But first, I'd like to make a motion to dispense with the 3 reads.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Miss Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Miss Anderson?
Yes.
I'll second the original.
Thank you, Sam.
Okay, roll call. Any discussion? Sorry.
I mean, I just wanted to speak on this one and the next one. But, I mean, this is just a change, just so everyone is aware of variances and conditional uses. So just like a zoning permit only lasts a year, this is now updating our variance and conditional uses section that are, so it's also only up to a year, and then they would have to apply again. So before, it was just kind of like it would be
Open-ended. Yeah.
open-ended, so.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Sam. Any other discussion? No? No. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Miss Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Miss Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance number 1821-2023, an ordinance to amend ordinance 1101-1989 zoning code to amend fences in section 603 of the Village of Lakemore zoning code. But first, I'd like to make a motion to dispense with the 3 reads.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Miss Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Miss Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
I'll second the original.
Thank you.
Any discussion?
Yeah, just like the other one, we were changing this one because there is currently a discrepancy in our zoning code. So that says like each fence needs to be built along the property line of the house or the parcel. And with riparian setbacks, especially in the newer developments, they can't do that because they have to allot so many feet or so much acreage to the riparian setback. So it kind of like conflicts. So this changes that, even though they still have to maintain
The opposite.
the opposite
yeah.
end to whatever the riparian setback says to maintain it by, they can at least build the fence after the riparian.
And I
So,
think at this point, it only affects the new area of like Hidden Lake
Yes.
Yeah.
area, that's, being on that committee, this is the only ones that I have seen.
Right.
Yeah.
But it would impact future
It
developments.
could
like
future
around
development, but
Springfield
so
Lake,
far,
wherever.
it's only the new
Yes.
area over there.
Right.
So
So
Okay.
this is good.
we have to get it,
This
yes. get
Any
it
loopholes
changed.
we want to patch up, like that's,
Mhm.
so.
We're trying.
We
Yeah.
are trying, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for the explanation.
Okay, any other discussion?
Oh, did you want something?
No,
Okay.
I told him almost.
Oh, almost. We got to vote.
Oh, sorry, roll call, please.
Well, let's slow it down.
Miss Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Well, yeah.
Miss Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Okay,
Now you can do your dance.
you're good,
Okay.
yeah.
Can I ask a question? Or
Yes.
not yet?
Yeah,
Okay.
That's fine.
Go ahead.
Is this like the previous one where we would have to reapply for a permit every year,
If-
or will we be good?
No.
Okay.
You're good.
It looks good.
So if I have one sitting on my desk, I'm not calling tomorrow, but I'll call on
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Thank you.
Let the
No, if you don't build
contractor
the
know.
fence within a year, you'll have to reapply.
Oh,
But-
we're ready.
But yeah.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
All right, cool.
He's like, it
Wednesday.
passed, let's go, start building that fence.
Okay, we have one more ordinance, and that is yours, Heather Anderson. Go ahead.
All right, I would like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 1819-2023, an ordinance to amend ordinance 1795-2022, make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures for the Village of Lakemore, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2023. But first, I would like to make a motion to dispense with the 3 readings.
I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Okay,
I'll second the original.
thanks, Sam. Any discussion?
Nope.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Woo-doo-woo.
Okay,
I don't believe there's any reason to go into an executive session, so I will make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
We're out of here.
Everybody's
jumping.
okay.
Want to get out of here?
Any discussion?
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr.
Able to get my
Strittmatter?
second in there.
Thanks, good game, school board.
Yes.